All right, sorry, I forgot to start the tape, but we're writing validate wait. And I was showing people that this, which is the way we're used to writing things, and there's nothing wrong with it, can be replaced with this. And this is called the ternary operator because there are 1, 2, 3 operands, and there's 2 operators, a question mark and a colon. And this says, make this test. If the test is true, do what comes after the question mark. So assign W to wait. If it's false, do what comes after the colon. So assign def wait to wait. And guess what? I'm going to grab the whole flipping thing. I'm going to copy it to the clipboard. And I'm going to make myself a validate height. And I'm going to just change the W's, even though I didn't have to. Oh, look at that. I don't know if I did that, if I wrote, looks like I've got an H here. If you put it on yours, please get rid of it. On the top one, these should all be wait. See that? Wait, 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 wait. And on the bottom here, those should all be height. H, height, def. Now, could I have screwed up? It's me, so yeah, I could have. I don't think there's anything wrong now. It's not showing me it. Well, it's still showing me an error here. I don't know what that's for. But I'm hoping that that error is going to go away when we put in the last routine. So that was the default wait. Validate wait, W, wait. Oh, right there. Less than or equal to. Okay. That should be wait. Wait, W, W, wait, W, wait, wait, W, wait, default wait. Wait, W, wait, W, wait, W, wait. Then the same thing, but with a height. All right, so that should be less than or equal to. It's height. That should be an H. Height, H, height, H, height, H, height. That was my error. All right. Now, you please look up on the screen. Remember when I ran this for you? And it looked like this. Come on. And what does it have? Family.person. 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 They changed it. It used to print out what I told you, that address that was in there. All right. But now it just prints out the name, family, the name of the program, dot the name of the class. Well, that's not very good. We want it to print out for each person their name and all their goodies. All right, we want them to do all that stuff. So right after this public validate wait, we've got one more routine to write right here. All right. We are going to do what's called override the toString method. ToString is what gets called when I do this. Again, please look up on the screen. When I call this thing, way up on top, right line, that calls toString. That's what gave us family.person every time. We don't want that. That's silly. That isn't telling us anything. So let's go and rewrite that. Since we're overwriting it, we have to let the system know that we're overwriting it. So we say public override string toString. When you put that in, it automatically gives you this. Just get rid of that. We don't want that. We'll write it right now. It is literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 lines, I think, and then we're almost done. So I'm going to say string str equals first name plus fname str. I'm just going to be doing a bunch of plus equals in here now, just so you know. Plus equals, make that, last name, and that will be lname. We call that SS number. It's going to be height. I don't remember which one I put first, so I'm going to go look. It was height, then weight. So I should put height first. Not that I have to, but so that's 5. What's left? Eye color, hair color. And gender. One thing I should have done, if you look up on the screen, please, can you please go back in and not the first line, but every other line, put a \n. Otherwise, this is all going to print on one line, and it'll be virtually impossible for you to read. Sorry about that. right, so we've got all that. And then one last line, we're done. Return STR. The error is now gone too. I'll leave that up there for just a second. But I want to show you the problem with the way this is currently written. All right, so save. Let's run it. Hopefully we'll get something now. There we go. Now there's me. Unknown, unknown, XXS, default height, default weight, default eye color, default hair color, default gender. Looks like it worked. There's my wife. We defaults for everything except the name. Then Taylor. All right. Look, it took away to 0 because we didn't call validate wait. See what I mean? All right. For Mackenzie, it took the invalid height because we didn't call validate height. All right. And then finally, Chloe, everything was valid. All right. So let's go fix those. You may or may not remember this. I'm going to jump all the way up to here, right here. Okay. It doesn't matter when we do this if we have height first or weight first. I mean, I've got weight first. Up here, we had height first. Really, truly doesn't matter. If you're that anal about it, then just change them. But you don't have to. You know, just make that an H and make that one a W. You want to do that. But the problem is right now, we're not calling the validate. Okay, so we're going to change that right now. To do that, we got to come in here, and we've got to rewrite get, and we've got to rewrite set. And we're going to do virtually the exact same thing in just a second. So for get, we want to come in here and we want to say return the height. And for set, we want to say the height is equal to validate height. And you may or may not know what we have to pass in. Remember this word? Value. That's what we just... All right. So what doesn't it like here? Cannot convert. Oh, okay. We'll fix that in a minute. Don't worry about it. Okay? And you're going to have to take the weight and do the same thing. All right? I'm getting an error there. We'll fix it in just a minute. We'll fix that. That's a real simple fix. So if you get an error like I did, don't worry about it. But make sure that you've got your height set up, your getters and setters and height set up like that. All right? Once you do, come down to here, get rid of that get and set, and do the same thing, except this will be return weight, and this will be validate weight. You're going to get the same error. We're going to fix it in a minute. Now I can make this nice and small, but if it's that small, probably it's hard for you to read it, but you can see there's the height and there's the weight. The problem that we have, the reason we're getting these two errors, if you look up on the screen, the reason that we're getting these two errors is validate height doesn't return anything, validate weight doesn't return anything. Did you hear me? So let's change that. Let's go down. We just wrote those. Here we've got this. Weight equals this. Right underneath that put return weight. And then change this up here from a void, change it to an int. Make two changes. Change this from a void to an int and add return weight. Then go to height, change it from void to int, and return height. So now they're both fixed. Let's see if that fixed it. All right. So I'm going to run the program again. It's got no change on my record because I was all defaults. Oh, I skipped me somehow. But now, oh, didn't like it. Something's still wrong. Didn't like that. So I wrote something incorrect. I have to go back and fix it. So let's see what the problem is. Well, normally what we write in here is, I believe, trying to figure out what the problem is. Because there's still a problem. Let's go back and check in here. Well, I don't know if this will work, but I'm going to try doing it like this. How's this? We'll say I wouldn't type it in yet. Let's make sure it works. Still didn't take it. Still didn't take either one of those. Doggone it. Ooh. That should be page. Height. Wait. Wow. I'm surprised. What's that? Still not. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to have to fix that. All right. One of my goals is to fix that for tomorrow and be able to show you tomorrow the right way. Whatever it is, it's I think, fairly minor. All right. I could probably sit and debug it, but then you'd sit and watch me debug. And I think that would be honest with you, that'd be kind of a waste of your time. All right. So let's do this. Let's go back to see, I wrote this one with only part of my notes. And we're going to write another one. This other one that we're going to write, I did have time. I wrote it and I tested it this morning. So it should work just fine. Keep what you have. Go back, do a file if you have to, do a file, save all on it. And then let's start up a new project. All right. Again, I apologize. We'll get it fixed by tomorrow. So start up a new project, please. It'll again be a console app. All right. This one, we're going to write a bunch of things with bank accounts and other accounts. So for now, I just call this account. ACCOUNT. All right. And I saved it again where I saved mine, which is to the desktop. All right. This one we're going to do in the way that we learned. in that we're going to create a separate file with an account class in it. All right? And then we will come back, when we get done, we will come back and then we will write, I don't know what's going on here. Okay. There we go. All right. So I know I don't want that. There. So right now, my hope is you've all got this. Okay? First thing we're going to do, again, you don't have to do this. But by default, your program is called program. That program is this one right here. See that? That one is this one. Let's change the name. So right mouse click on this and choose rename. And let's call this account tester. Now, with a lot, you're going to get that message, say yes. With a lot of people, what they do is they either, if you have a class named account, they name the file to test it either account tester or account driver. All right, I'm just calling it tester. All right. We're going to write the account class first this time. So we're doing it the opposite of the way we did it before. All right, so let's right mouse click on account right here, right there. Right mouse click on it. Choose add. Go down to the bottom where you've got class. So we right mouse clicked, choose add, choose class. And we will call this account. So we now have, if you look in here, we now have account.cs and account-tester.cs. All right. The one we're going to work on now, for now, is going to be the account class. And guess what? We don't need any of these. Just system. We're not going to put a write line in here. That's going to be in our tester. If you want to leave those in, if you feel better, leave them in. It doesn't really matter. All right. I'm going to have in here just one constant. Right now, I don't care if this is a checking account. I don't care if this is a savings account or any other kind of account. I don't care. It's just an account. Are you with me? Later, we will build upon this. But for now, it's just an account. And I'm assuming no matter what kind of an account it is, you need a minimum balance of $25. That's just an assumption I'm making. All right. So my constant that's in here, it's going to say const decimal min balance equals 25.00 M. Yeah, I might as well see my mail is still open. Get those beeps to stop. All right. That's the only constant that I have. And next, I'm going to make my instance variables. I'm going to assume each person has a name and they have a balance. That's it. Don't worry about, well, what about an account number? Don't worry about it. We're keeping this simple purposely. So these will be my instance variables. And again, when you hear instance variables, that means that for each account that we create, the person will have a string that represents, we're going to make it private string name, and private string balance. I just want you all to understand that what we're saying is with each person, that's what they have. Does that make sense? All right. So typically then the first thing that we do is we do our constructors. All right, so we will have two of them. We'll have a default constructor. Remember this from yesterday? It's not going to do a flaming thing. But we're going to put it in there just for completeness. So a no arg constructor. And remember, it's public, followed by the name of your class, which is account, paren, hit enter, and curly. That's it. It won't do anything. We will expect that each time we create an account, we will pass in a person's name, and we will pass in their balance. With me? All right. So this will be our full arg constructor. And I call these account name and account balance. I just use ACCT. All right. Now, I'm pretty confident that even if for some reason we don't pass in a name, it has a blank name. We could check for that, but I'm just going to assume that they'll be smart enough that it'll have that in there. What I'm not going to assume is that when we pass in a number for our current, our beginning balance when we first create an account, maybe somebody fat fingers and hits a minus sign. So they put in a negative number. So we will check that one in here. So let's validate that the beginning account balance is greater than or equal to $25. And what did we say $25 was? Min balance, right? All right. That's in there when we create a new person. That's what we're going to assume. It's not hard to do. We're just going to say if account, in fact, let's not even call this for account. Let's call this init balance. For initial balance, all right? Init, initial, it doesn't matter. So if that initial balance is, sorry, let me do this. If that initial balance is less than our minimum balance, it's bad. Does that make sense? So we're just going to set it to the minimum balance. Okay? Now we want this to be a big B. It won't like that because we haven't created that yet. Don't worry about it. We're going to create that in just a minute. But what I want you to get out of this, if you look at it, we're just going to assume that everybody should have an account balance that's at least 25 bucks. We're assuming that. So even if you don't, we're going to give you 25 to start. Okay, does that make sense? Maybe not that you would do that. Why would a bank do that? But maybe they even would. All right. So we're saying if for some reason this account balance that we pass in is less than 25, just reset it to 25. That's what we're doing. All right. Okay. So those are our two constructors. So let's come down here. This will be our, what's called, again, our auto implemented property. What does that mean? That means, look on the screen, prop, tab, and I'm going to say public string name get set. I'm not going to do anything special with the name. I'm not going to check it to make sure you put something in there. I'm not going to check it to make sure there's only letters in there. I'm not going to do that. We could. We could check to make sure they put in both a first name and a last name. There's a lot of stuff we could do. I'm not doing any of that. Okay? All right. So that was our auto implement. The auto implement means it's just got the get set there. That's what the auto implement means. All right. So here we're going to say balance property, and there will be validation done. Look on the screen, see how I wrote balance? See how that error went away? All right. When you write this stuff, typically, it doesn't make any difference the order you write it. All right. And we could have probably even put this in there first and put it above that. It typically won't matter at all. Okay. So get is just going to be return balance. That's it. We're not doing anything special. We're just returning it. Oh, and what did we call it here? It is balance there, so what's the problem? Yeah, I know it's called balance, but that's not a problem. Balance. It's giving us an error here again. Oh, because I don't have a set yet. Okay. Set. Okay. Now that error went away, I'm still getting an error here. Cannot convert type string to type decimal. Cannot convert a string to a decimal. Oh, see this? That should be a decimal. Yeah, that should make sense. I like that when I screw up and it's a good thing. All right, so sorry about that. So that fixes that. This is now fixed. Okay, so balance must be greater than or equal to $25, which again is our min balance, correct? So we said before. All right. So if that value is greater than or equal to the min balance, meaning it's greater than or equal to 25, balance equal value. Okay? And we already saw that from up above. If it's not, I don't know if we need this else in here or not. Else balance equals min balance. Not sure if we'll need that or not. I didn't put it in, but it might be a good idea to put it in. All right, we'll see in just a couple minutes. All right, here's a real dumb question I'm asking on purpose, right? If I've got an account, what are typically, there's three things that we want to do. We want to check our balance, we want to be able to deposit, we want to be able to withdraw. Do you agree? I'm not going to even worry about checking the balance. That would just be returning it. That's all. So I'm not going to do that. So we're going to come in here, and after this, so I'm on the end of my public balance. So I'm at the end of that, and I'm going to come in here, and after that curly, so there's still two curlies on the bottom here, I'm going to put in a deposit method. The deposit must be valid. What would be a valid deposit? How about greater than 0? All right, because to me, you don't walk into a bank, how much money do you want to deposit? A negative $73. No, that's a withdrawal. All right. So, public void deposit Now, if you look up on the screen, if it's not greater than 0, we're not doing anything. We're just, okay, it's like it never even happened. All right? We've got one more that we have to do then, and that's going to be our withdrawal procedure. Method. I have a question for you. The withdrawal must be valid. What does that mean? What does it mean? What? How much money do we have to keep into our account at all times? So if I've got $100 and I attempt to withdraw $100, it shouldn't let me. Does that make sense? Because I wouldn't have my minimum balance. All right? I.e. after withdrawal, balance should still be greater than or equal to the min balance, which again is $25. Does that make sense? No, we're just, if somebody comes in there and screws up and does a negative, we just skip it. We're not handling it. It's the same way if I come in, whether it's a deposit or a withdrawal, they both have to be positive numbers. If they're negative, it doesn't make any sense. Now, I don't know if you've seen it. There's a new commercial on TV. I thought it was pretty cool. They've got this woman who's deaf, and she's at an ATM. And it's like a virtual person there, and they're signing to them. I mean, this stuff is just going to keep continuing. All right. Before it goes too nuts, I'll be dead anyway. So.
We don't need to get it in the ATM anyway.
You what? No, you don't. But it's I guess it's like if you have questions, and they're signing back and forth, and then a guy comes up with his daughter, a real little kid, and she walks up, and she goes, "Hi." And you see the woman can't talk. So she's like there in real time. So she says hi to the daughter, but she's still signing away. So. But you're right. But if you had questions, it would be nice to have somebody, if you were deaf, that would be able to answer them where you could understand unless you were a lip reader. Yeah. We've got to write about 5 or 6 lines, and then we're finished. So, in fact, I already wrote the comment up above here. So, if and that's it for the class. We're going to write the tester but we're going to take another break first. All right? So it is 3 minutes to 10. Let's come back at 10 after 10, please. This is not much, so you'll still have some time. And I didn't mean to bring Luke here under false pretenses. So we'll be done by no later than 10:30. Okay?